good are entry-level guitars? And what makes them so much cheaper than the more expensive offerings from the same manufacturer? Well, today I'm going to look at one of the cheapest king-Vs Jackson offers, and I feel like I need to qualify that, so let me explain. The JS series is Jackson's budget line of guitars, and when looking at the king-V shape in this series, it's a little confusing to be honest. The absolute cheapest king-V is the JS22 7-string that comes equipped with a hardtail bridge and is also a 7-string. The next step up is still in their JS line, but now is the JS32, which I'm not sure exactly what the differences are between the JS22 and the JS32, since they have other guitar shapes with both variants, but the different specs between the two variants aren't consistent. So anyways, back to the king-V. You can get a JS32T, which has a string-through bridge, and I'm just not a fan of these. But this is where it gets a little weird. If you want to upgrade to the Jackson licensed Floyd Rose equipped model, it's $40 more, which I would totally do personally. But if you want to buy a black one with white bevels or vice versa, we move all the way up to $459. It's kind of a lot for a color variation. I decided to look at the JS32 King V in black, which retails for $389, but is on sale for $369 at the time of making this video. I think this is the best budget option personally, and I just want to see what we can get in the world of extreme guitar for less than $400, and also how this compares to some of Jackson's more expensive King Vs. What's up everybody? I have the Jackson JS32 King V right here plugged in. Now I've done absolutely nothing to this guitar. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, I want to get a feel for what it feels like out of the box, and I also want to maybe come across any things that I want to address in the setup, because we will set this up later on in this video. I'm gonna actually set this up in C standard. It came to me in E standard. Now you might be asking yourself, why am I checking these guitars out? The reason is I get a lot of questions about these particular guitars. My guess is I probably get a lot of questions about these guitars just because, you know, I do so much stuff with like extreme sort of metally type guitars on here, and people are looking for my opinions on the more budget metal guitar. How do these open? Holy shit. On the more budget metal guitars. So, you know, that's probably what's going on, which is cool. I'm glad that people actually value my input on things, you know, it means a lot to me. So my answer being, I don't know. I don't know, I've never tried one. I kind of wanted to resolve that and try them. Ugh. Whoa, this is packed very interestingly. What is this? Look, it's got this like mini guitar case in here to fill the box. You know, so it's like that. Tell you what, man, Jackson not only makes cool guitars, but they're very smart with their shipping. Oh no, it's the V, man. So I did get a Pro Series King V, which is the first King V I've actually ever played. I got that for the Metallica video recently, and it's actually hanging right there. You can maybe see it in there. It's white. I actually got that recently and I was like super impressed by it. And ooh, that feels good. That feels nice. Dude, these JS level guitars from Jackson are so nice for the money. Now, I'm not sure how much, I think this is right around $400. We do have a Jackson by Floyd Rose tremolo on here. I think this is the same as a special, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like a special, but you know, a special is like still fine. You know, we have a one-piece maple neck with the scarf joint. It is a bolt-on neck. 24 frets, excuse me. You know, we have the Jackson branded pickups. I thought these were fine in that JS guitar that I tried on the channel a while back. The neck feels so good though. This one's badass, dude. I can't wait to set this one up and play it. And so far the setup is really good, but there is one issue. The issue is that to tune this into E standard, I'm actually running out of room here on the Floyd Rose with the fine tuners. So it makes it a little bit hard when you need to tune up and it won't tighten at all. Speaking of the price on this guitar, I think it's a $359. Let me just read you the specs. This is the Jackson JS32 King V in gloss black. It is a poplar guitar with a bolt-on maple neck. Now, one of the most exciting things to me about the Jackson JS series guitars is that they still come with the same speed neck shape that their much higher end guitars have. The fingerboard is made out of amaranth and it has a 12 to 16 inch compound radius with purloined shark fin inlays. It has 24 jumbo frets. It comes equipped with a Jackson licensed Floyd Rose tremolo and Jackson sealed die-cast tuners. And on the electronic side, we have two high output Jackson humbuckers, one master volume control, one master tone control, and a 3-way toggle switch. And in this configuration, all of that comes in at $369.99 at the time of making this video. Now, again, I've done nothing to this guitar, as you can tell by the plastic on the pickups. I will take that off here in a minute, but you know, I think it sounds pretty good as is. Now this does come with stock Jackson pickups. I think they sound really solid for what they are. This is not dissimilar to the video that I did on the Jackson JS22, I think. The pickups really surprised me in that video as well. They sound very clear. Let me explain what's going on here with the single chain. I have the Jackson JS32 King V, obviously, because I just talked about it a whole bunch. Oh shit, dropped my pick. That is plugged into a pedal by my company, Obsidian Audio. That is plugged into a pedal by my company, Obsidian Audio. That is the Devil pedal. I'm using this as a noise gate and also to boost this amplifier. I'm not using it at all right now, it's off. This has a built-in noise gate as well as a boost, and we will use that to boost this PRS MT15. That is powering this Mesa 4x12 cabinet. And then you're hearing it on the end with your ear holes, okay? This didn't come directly from Jackson. This did come from my homies over at Zounds. I will leave an affiliate link down in the description. I'm not keeping this guitar or anything. They're just letting me borrow it to make this video because I wanted to. For all intents and purposes, this guitar was set up by Jackson, and it just came set up so incredibly well, and it feels so good in the hands. It really does. Let's boost it. Now, if you're a beginner, which I'm assuming probably a lot of you are beginners if you're watching this video, the thing about playing a V, well, there's a couple things about playing a V. It might look like a very uncomfortable guitar to play, but it's actually one of my favorite guitars to play because I think they're extremely comfortable. You don't have a horn that gets in your way here. Like it's really ergonomically nice. Now you probably do need to play it with a strap, and I would recommend getting a thicker strap, something like this. This is like a thick leather strap. You don't have to necessarily get a leather one if you're not into that, you know, like animals, whatever. I would recommend just getting a thicker strap because there's more surface area, so it helps with the neck dive. Like if you could tell right now, there's not really much neck dive on this guitar. As is. And a lot of that is because of the strap I'm using. The other thing that I would say, you really gotta watch out for the horns, man. Like when you're at your band practice and you're like fiddling over here, whacking this into stuff, these tend to chip really easily. That's why when you see used pointies online, they're usually like missing pieces of the tips right here. So with all that said, if you're interested in a pointy guitar like this one, I would go for it, man. I think they're awesome. I think they're a lot of fun to play. Now we will compare this to another King V I have. I have a Pro Series King V, so it's like a few steps above this. So maybe we'll get both those out and compare them and like go over the differences because they're very dramatically different price brackets. But I opted for the one with the tremolo because it's like, you know, fucking metal. Come on, it's a King V for God's sake. Okay, I'm actually having a really good time playing this guitar. This guitar feels and plays really, really nice. But let's go set this thing up. Let's put it under the microscope, so to speak, and like really look at it. All right, we're gonna take the JS King V, we're gonna set this up. I'm gonna put it on the bench. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. What I like to do here in this segment is set up the guitar to my normal playing tuning, which is C standard, and just let you guys know anything that I find along the way that is concerning or anything that you should know, you know, things like that. So let's get to it. Strings are off. Hopefully you enjoyed that little montage. Let's look at some things here. The first thing you're gonna wanna do if you buy one of these guitars, and this was true with the other Jackson as well, lube up the fingerboard. That sounds dirty, kinda is. I think this is just par for the course when it comes to fingerboards on inexpensive guitars. It's dry and dirty. This is a brand new guitar and it's like, look, you can see stuff on it. It's pretty filthy. Fretwork is very good though. There's no pokey bits at all. Like nothing, no fret sprout, no anything. The frets are in there the way God intended, and yeah, fretboard looks great other than being dry and dirty. So let's clean that thing real quick. And while I have your attention, I use Ernie Ball Beefy Slinkies. They don't sponsor me or anything. They have nothing to do with these videos. But if you go to Ernie Ball's website and you type in drop C 25.5-inch scale, what strings, they tell you to use these ones. But I just find that to be pretty on par with the way most guitars come set up. And the nice thing about that is if you want to change the tuning on your guitar and you use strings that put the same amount of tension on your neck, you probably won't have to adjust your neck. We'll find out, but it's much less likely that I will have to adjust it since I'm using roughly the same string tension. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna check and quantify one of the most important parts of the guitar right now, the neck. But real quick, I just wanna answer this question because I get it a lot. I just use fast fret on the fretboard. The reason that I use fast fret is because it's quick and easy to apply. Like, it comes with its own applicator and then you just clean off your fretboard, wipe everything down, it's all good. Now, if this was a guitar that I was keeping, I would actually use orange scented wood furniture oil, like the stuff that you use to restore antique wood. The reason that I would do that on my own guitars is because I prefer it. I like the way it smells. It tends to last a lot longer. But since this is a guitar that I'm going to be sending back, I don't want to send it back smelling like oranges because you never know. Like, the person who ends up with this guitar might be allergic to oranges or something. I don't know. Anyways, let's measure some stuff here with the neck. Okay, so I'm measuring up here at the first fret. And at the first fret, just under 19.5 millimeters, that is pretty thin. And then up here at the 12th fret, just barely over 21 millimeters, 21.23 millimeters. So we'll just call the neck thickness 19 to 21 millimeters. Not quite as thin as a Wizard neck or something like that, but pretty much on par with Jackson's higher end guitars. Okay, the radius is listed as 12 to 16 inches compound. I have these little measurement things here. You know, when we put 12 on, there's a little bit of space, but if we go to 14 here at the nut, that's almost perfectly flat. So I would say that it's closer to 14 on this end, and then let's see about 16 on this end. 16 seems to be accurate. So I would say it's closer to 14 to 16, but is that something you're gonna notice? Only you can answer that for yourself. Let's get strings on this and see if I have to adjust the neck. One more thing here before I get the strings on. The distance here between the posts on this Jackson Floyd Rose appears to be a Floyd Rose standard 75-ish millimeters, meaning if you want to upgrade the tremolo in the future, you should be able to swap this out with like a Floyd Rose original or maybe one of the other brands. You know, you just have to check the measurements, make sure it fits. Okay. Okay, let's answer a few common questions real quick here. If you saw me flip over the guitar, what I was doing is I was adjusting these screws in the back. These control the tension on the claw, which pulls on these springs, which pulls on the bottom of the bridge, and that causes the bridge to pull towards the body. If you loosen them, it will actually start to lift away from the body. And the whole point is you just want to get this in tune and get this balanced so this is more or less flat. And you can see mine is a little bit not flat, but I think that this is acceptable. You know, if you want to spend some more time, you can really dial this in and get it perfectly level, but I can live with this. The other thing is I just pretty much eyeball the neck by looking down it like that. This neck looks really, really straight, and then I will just double check by holding the first fret and the 24th fret in this case, or 22nd fret if it's a 22 fret guitar, just tapping the 12th fret and seeing how much space there is between it. And that looks pretty, I mean, there's some movement here, and I checked, I don't have any buzzing on any of the strings going up, you know, anywhere, so I don't think I need to adjust the neck, thankfully. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish getting this tuned. Oh, by the way, pro tip here, almost forgot my own tip. That is all the way out, and this is mostly all the way in, so I'm gonna split the difference. Then I'm gonna put all of the fine tuners in roughly the middle there before I tune it up and get it locked down. And the reason is, once you get it locked down, if you run out of space here for tuning, you have to unlock the whole guitar and reset it. So, you know, you just wanna make sure before you get it all tuned and locked down that you actually have some space to tune up or down if you need to. So that's what that's about. Okay. I missed you. Back here, we have the JS32 Jackson King V set up. We have everything not working. What's going on here? I forgot to plug it in. You do have to plug in your amp if you want it to work. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before. It does require being plugged in. This is what it sounds like now. I think this guitar sounds so much better in C standard. It's just way thicker. I don't know, it like suits it more, I guess. My opinion. But let's go ahead and boost this and kill that noise that's in the front of it. Yeah, dog. This thing rips, dude. It is such a ripper of a guitar for the money. Let's test the tremolo here real quick. I didn't do that with the original strings on it. So we stayed mostly in tune when doing that too. Let's see if we can actually get it to flutter here a little bit. Now, this is a lot like a Floyd Rose Special in terms of the feel, at least. So the flutters are pretty weak, and I'm not sure exactly what causes this, but I've noticed this a lot in all of my times using tremolos. When you have a cheaper tremolo with a smaller block, it tends to not be as fluttery. And what I mean by that is, like, if you look at a flutter, like skipping a stone, if you're skipping a stone on a lake or something, with a cheaper trem, it's like one skip and then the rock sinks in the water. With a more expensive tremolo, especially with a bigger block, the rock will skip a bunch. The skips are the flutters. Do you get my analogy? Yeah, I mean, you can still dive bomb on it, so, like, do you care about that? I don't know. It's very comfortable to put your hand on. I don't know, man. I just think it's crazy. You know, for $369 at the time of making this video, also on Sweetwater, it's kind of different from different retailers for whatever reason. But you get this awesome extreme shape, the shreddy neck profile that Jackson's known for, the compound radius. You do have a locking tremolo. Maybe it's not the best locking tremolo in the world. I think that's the weak point for me personally. If I was going to upgrade something on this guitar, I would upgrade the tremolo before I would upgrade the pickups, because I think the pickups actually sound very, very good. And like I mentioned in my previous Jackson video on that JS22, I believe, the pickups are much, much better than what I remember from when I bought my 𝐓𝐇𝐀𝐍𝐿 and I swapped out the pickups on that thing. That thing's not over here. I wish I could point to it and show you, but it's not here. The pickups have come a long way and they sound really good. Okay, there's something that I wanted to do right here that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I actually want to compare this to a much more expensive King V, which is the Jackson Pro Series King V, which, Jesus Christ. So let me get that real quick. So here's the Pro Series King V. I don't think the biggest differences are going to be in tone, but I'm just going to play it anyways. I don't think the sound quality is really what we should be talking about when we compare expensive gear to cheap gear. When it comes to this guitar, we do only have 22 frets on this guitar. However, the overall quality control on this guitar, I would say, is a little bit of a step up, but to try and quantify that for you is actually really difficult. You do have a neck through design here, so the heel on the back of this guitar, there's no, plate where the neck bolts on. The strap button is right in the middle here, which actually does make it hang a little bit better. These are minor things. The wood on these guitars is quite a big difference. So you have mahogany on this guitar and you have poplar on the cheaper King V. And I would say the biggest differences between these woods, especially if you're playing with copious amounts of saturation, is not so much the tone, but the feel of it. Poplar is softer and lighter. That wood is more likely to dent than a mahogany bodied guitar. Now, with that being said, this guitar actually doesn't weigh much more than that guitar. Not all mahogany is equal, right? Like some mahogany weighs more than others depending on where it's cut from the tree, and that's a whole topic for another video. But I'm just trying to illustrate the point here. Let's try an analogy of something else that doesn't make sound. Furniture. The difference between a mahogany table and a table you get from IKEA is pretty dramatic in terms of the feel, how long it'll last you, things like that. And I would say that guitars are somewhere in that range. Although guitars aren't furniture. I guess technically they are, the way some of us buy them and just hang them on the wall. Like me. This has been my TED Talk. And the last big difference we have between this Pro line King V and the JS King V is, you know, this one comes with EMGs, which is like $200 a pair, $250, something like that. I don't know, somewhere in between $200 and $250 a pair. So, you know, that's another cost to take into consideration. However, when I was looking at Pro Series King Vs, there's a cheaper one than this that I actually would prefer over this one. It has the same mahogany body, next to construction. It has an ebony fingerboard, and it actually comes with a Floyd Rose 1000, which is a big step up from the Jackson licensed Floyd Rose that comes on the JS series. And in my opinion, a big step up from this Tune-O-Matic hardtop. I don't really like these. It's just me personally. Maybe you like that. Maybe you prefer it. I'm just trying to give you some context here. If I'm being just 100% honest and transparent with you, I actually prefer playing the JS series guitar over this King V. Does that mean I would take it like on tour and on the road? Probably not. But just in between these two guitars, I actually prefer playing that one because it has 24 frets and a Floyd Rose, and you know, those are things. I mean, I'm actually gonna, let me get that guitar back out. I'm done with this. You get the point, right? Oh, hey there, snarky contrarian that's in my comments, always telling me that budget guitars need to be played through the cheapest possible thing ever. I bet you thought I forgot about you. I did. But we're gonna do this through a free plugin here real quick. This is the Amp Roots plugin. All right, if you are interested in a JS Series King V, or really any JS Series Jackson guitar for that matter, it's actually one of the more budgety entries that I can recommend, you know, especially for an extreme shaped guitar like this, like a V. I just think that this guitar has a lot of really great qualities in this price range. I mean, you have 24 frets. You do have a locking trem, even though it's the Jackson branded one, you know, it's equivalent to a Floyd Rose special, I would say. That's what it feels like. Jackson puts their speed neck profiles on their budget entry guitars. You know, they don't give you some whack neck profile like some other companies do. It's a smart way to make you a Jackson player for life, because if you've ever felt one of these necks, you know. With that being said, I would swap out this tremolo eventually on this guitar. It'll play nicer and the guitar will more likely return to true tuning if you dive bomb and do whammy time on it, you know, without it just... The more guitars that I try from Jackson's budget line, the more I appreciate them and the more that I can recommend them to other people. I think they make really good stuff. All right, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here with me. I will leave links for this down in the description below. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you really like what I do here on the channel, consider joining these fine fellows over here on Patreon, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.